Four Lies.
Welcome to BodyBags. This week 115. It's Saturday. OUTSIDER365 here. Hello. And the movie I'm going to talk about this week is from the pack I was talking about last week, the full moon one, and I'm going to talk about this guy right here, Skullheads. 2009 full moon movie, produced and directed by Charles Band. What's the story of this one? For generations, the Arkoff family have lived in their castle undisturbed until one night when they're invaded by a trio of art thieves, and the Arkoffs must fight for their lives, aided only by the ancient protectors of the castle, the Skullheads. Right, so this is from the Halloween Haunts 3-pack thing I have, full moon. So yeah, the movie is about this family, an American family that are living in Italy in this castle. And you got the mom and the dad and their daughter, Naomi, the Arkoffs, and her uncle, so yeah, the dad's brother, who we think is Italian, and they're American. You know, they're Americans living in Italy. Peter, I think the brother is. Yeah, he's Italian, and he's, you know, kind of like the servant of the house, the butler, and all that kind of shit. And they have the maid living there too, and then including the trio. There's only about 8 characters in this film, but like 3 or 4 main ones. Yeah, very short cast on this. So the movie starts off with the daughter being disciplined by Mr. Arkoff, who's a bit of a fucking sadist, and there's all like torture chamber kind of shit in the basement of the castle, where when she's bad, in this case she was using a mobile phone, a cell phone, and he's taking her downstairs to, you know, tell her what time it is, kind of stuff. So he's not a nice guy, he's a bit of a bastard. And then his wife, well, shit unfolds. It's not his wife, but you find out later on and shit. No point in fucking giving it away here. She's kind of in between, and the daughter Naomi is like a free spirit. She's played by, the daughter's played by Robin Sidney, who is kind of like, she's like a go-to actress for Charles Band, really. She was in The Ginger Dead Man. She was in Evil Bong. Kind of like what Tiffany Shepis is to a lot of the trauma stuff, you know. She seems to be in it. She's a great actress. It's a good part. She's being held in the castle, not exactly against her will, but they don't want her to leave. They want her to grow up in the castle and stay with them kind of forever, you know. And she wants to go out and escape the world. She's smuggled in an iPod, and she's into music, and, you know, she's living this mundane kind of trapped existence and shit in this castle with her dodgy parents. And then one day, yeah, 3 people arrive at the castle. They want to come in. She lets them in, and they say they're from Hollywood. They're from Los Angeles, and they're shooting some World War II film or something, and they want to use the castle and pay the money and stuff. And Mr. Arkoff is pissed because he doesn't want anybody in. Outsiders are nothing but trouble, and blah 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 blah. And kind of tells them, you know, to fucking go away and stuff. And she manages to, from the delivery boy or something, to get use of a phone, and still has their business card, and calls them for dinner. And they come to the house and stuff, and they're, you know, they get a tour of it. You know, Mr. Arkoff's pissed they're there, but they get a tour of the house, but they're scoping the place out because it's already given away on the back that they're not from Los Angeles. They're from, they're just thieves, and they're there to rip the fucking place off because they think they're all simple and that they don't know what's in the castle and the value of it and all that stuff. So, and Naomi's infatuated with who she thinks is the young director. She's like fallen for him. She's infatuated with him, and he seems to have a spot for her. Especially when he finds out that she's kind of being held captive in this castle, and that she's going to receive some, you know, punishment for letting them in for dinner and stuff like that. They scope the place out, and, you know, with the intent of robbing it, which leads up to the whole end of it, which I won't give it away if you haven't seen it. Throughout this whole thing, and when they're having dinner, they mention that these skullheads are the protectors of the castle and stuff. You know, they're kind of loosely talking about it with the 3 thieves and stuff. And they say that, you know, that these ancient protectors, that they don't really say that they've ever seen them, but they hear them in the castle at night and shit. And they're these wooden kind of fucking things. You know, they look fucking kind of good, but kind of shit. You know, they look like pound shop home bargains. You know, budget store little Halloween decorations, that they look fucking wooden. you know. And then there are little clips where there's a bit of pasta and a bit of a biscuit, and the little hands come and take them, and they're little chicken bony hands, but then when you see their faces and everything, they look like carved wooden things. And yeah, they're the protectors of the castle that really don't do much except kind of creep around throughout the movie, and then for the last few minutes they kind of come into play. Overall view of this movie, it's not bad, you know. It's these kind of dolls protecting a thing. I mean, at this stage, like, of the movies and stuff, like Charles Band is plagiarizing himself. He's ripping himself off. The music score is good, but it's been used in tons of Full Moon Charles Band stuff, and it's by fucking is it Richard Band does the music and the score in this. So, like, you know, he's ripping himself off too. He's just, you know, rehashing the fucking there's dolls in it, we'll just use this score again, you know. So the music's good, but you've fucking heard it before. I did read this in other people's opinions of the movie and stuff, and I totally agree that Skullheads, it wasn't totally necessary to really have the Skullheads in this movie. You know, to have dolls that come to life or whatever, because they really don't play any part in this film, in this movie, until kind of like the very end, and then all they kind of do is like, okay, but it could have gone a different way and still been just as kind of good. So it was a pretty good story, a pretty good script, a pretty good idea. Didn't really need the Skullheads in it, as stupid as that might sound, but it was kind of like a good movie. They could have gone a different way with what happens with Mr. and Mrs. Arcroft at the end, and then they could have just done something else instead of had dolls come to life and the same music play all the time. But fuck it, it's Full Moon, and that's what Full Moon does. Anything could come to life, you know. This thing here could come to life and start killing me, or the little Frankenstein dude up there. So yeah, so overall, it's a Full Moon movie. It's not fantastic. There's much better Full Moon movies, but that's my 2 cents on it. Yeah, Skullheads, 2009, Full Moon. Been talking about that. I'm OUTSIDER365. Like, comment, and subscribe to the BodyBags channel. I'll put a link in my own channel where I haven't actually done a movie review for ages, but I'll have some shit up on there in the next few days. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care. Bye-bye now.